Hi, I'm Gloria Pierson, and this video today is on how to deal with difficult people. You may be surprised at the perspective that I take on this, so stay tuned. This video is on how to deal with difficult people. Now, we're not all the same, thank goodness. Could you imagine? We would have no variety in food, music, art, clothes. But those differences are what makes it difficult to be with some people. And in my own perspective, I think this still comes from our tribal mentality, when we were in a tribe and everybody had to be the same. So now, maybe we still carry that in. It's in our DNA. But when we deal with difficult people, a lot of it comes from our ego. Our ego wants to be right. So if I'm right, you have to be wrong, right? No. I'm right, you're wrong. That is the ego talking, because the ego doesn't care if you're happy or peaceful or if you get along with people. It wants to be right. So how do we switch that? How do we change that ego and quiet it? Well, one way is to turn the perspective and look at it more globally. Raise your consciousness about the situation with the difficult people. One question you could ask yourself is, why are they in your life? Maybe they're to teach you something. Maybe they're supposed to teach you patience, being not judgmental. Maybe they're just supposed to teach you a different point of view. So switch it. And rather than think, oh my gosh, I don't like being around them, switch it. What are they to teach you? And then when you learn something, you're raising your consciousness and your soul. Second, maybe you're to teach them something. Now, if somebody's screaming and shouting at you, don't say you back down. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect. But that doesn't mean you have to scream and shout and everything else if somebody else is doing that. Maybe you're to teach them something. Maybe patience. Maybe a different point of view. But again, both of these is trying to be non-judgmental. It's acceptance. You may like something different than I do, and that's okay. I don't have to be right. And some of these are easy if it's a simple thing. Maybe food you order in the restaurant. But when we get into larger issues, or maybe a political view, that's when the tensions rise and somebody has to be right and somebody has to be wrong. But we don't. Again, look at it as a learning experience on one way or the other, and by doing this, you raise your consciousness. You raise your soul. You have the power to not let all these external issues affect your peace and your happiness. You have the control. If you don't know how to control it, say a prayer, because prayer is endless. It goes on and on and on. And maybe it's you start in just little ways, but eventually you'll see you will become more tolerant, less judgmental. You'll raise your consciousness and your soul, and that of everybody around you. And sometimes if you have difficult doing this, a little trick is the person that's difficult, imagine that you're their mother or their father. You'd probably give them a little more slack, a little more tolerance. So try that little trick. And then the other, this is one of my golden rules. And if you have trouble with this, write it out. You know how I'm big on my index cards. And the golden rule is, what you react to in another person, you reinforce in yourself. Do you want that? Do you want to reinforce anger, jealousy, hatred? No, you probably don't. So again, remember, it is your ego talking, and you have the power to control the external and your reactions, and then by controlling the external, you control your internal, your soul, your consciousness raises, and it'll make it easier and easier and easier to deal with difficult people. So switch it around. Look at it as a learning experience and raising your soul. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button. I post every week, and I'm sending you lots of love and light.